Hey everybody, it's Tait and Lawrence here from Nanjing Marketing Group, ready to share with you the China marketing news of the week. This week we have 5 topics that we're going to cover. We're going to talk about China's latest digital currency test, Pinduoduo releasing a wallet, ICP licenses. I wrote a new guide for it. The Douyu and Huya merger, which is in question. And then finally, we're going to talk about the new famous influencer in China called Ding Zhen.
Yes.
All right, so let's get started here. The first one is about China's new digital currency. I'm really excited to see this come out. It's not for everyone right now. It's not spread across China. They've just been doing some tests. And this recent test they did in Suzhou. And what they did was, well, I'll read it first from scmp.com here, and then we'll add in our own conversation and thoughts about it. What scmp.com says is that online shoppers got their first opportunity to test out China's new digital currency this weekend during an e-commerce festival organized by JD.com, the country's second largest online retailer. To lure in digital currency users, Suzhou gave away 20 million yuan, which is like $3 million US, to residents via a lottery on Friday at the kickoff of the Double 12 shopping festival. A total of 100,000 digital red packets were distributed, each containing 200 yuan. Oh, yeah, so that's pretty cool. I mean, basically, some of these people won free money. So that's fun for them. I'll finish reading what's in the article here. Unlike Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, the DCEP is issued and backed by the country's central bank and designed as a digital version of the yuan. Other countries have been drawing up plans for digital currencies, including most of the group of 20 members. Yeah, so I read this article and a couple others. They were explaining it in more detail, but basically a lot of people got this digital currency for free, and then they were able to go and use it at offline stores and online stores as well. JD was involved, and they can use it on their phone using tap or QR codes too, I think.
Yes.
And it will even work if both the buyer and the seller don't have an active internet connection at the moment.
Yes, that's correct.
So that makes it
I think
a little bit more useful than even WeChat or Alipay. But I mean, people are always connected anyways, it seems, but there might be some situations where they're not.
I think one of the most difference between the Alipay and WeChat Pay compared to the digital currency is that the digital currency can really work offline. Imagine like people who live in the rural area, they probably don't have that much mobile data every month. So probably it would be easier for them to use digital currency whenever there is no online connection. And one thing in particular I like is they are actually testing from city to city. I think the first time we discussed about digital currency was back to August, and that was only testing in Shenzhen. And now they are testing in more cities. Now it's Suzhou. Probably we will see more upcoming news related to digital currency in other cities. And I believe one day if they test it around many cities and everything turns out that people like it, I think from a particular year, maybe next year, I think the government will starting to publish the new currency, which is a digital currency, and stop to printing new dollar notes, Chinese notes. I think that's something is going to happen.
Right. Yeah. So this is going to feel like it's going to happen really fast. I mean, for people that are not watching these tests and not really paying attention to this is just going to seem like it just takes off so quickly because all of a sudden there's going to be this digital currency that's out there. And as marketers, we got to watch this because I just want to see how it affects people's spending habits. I mean, it should make it even easier to spend money. Chinese consumers are more likely to take out loans now. They're more likely to be a little bit freer than their money than people were in the past. And when they have this digital currency, I don't know. It just sounds like it's going to make it even easier for online purchases, for one thing.
Yes.
Cool. Let's move on to the next one. So this is also a little bit related. Pinduoduo has released a service called Douyu Pay.
Yes.
And from this article here from krasia.com, it says that Pinduoduo has quietly launched its own payment channel, Douyu Zhifu or Douyu Pay, providing its 731 million users another option beyond WeChat Pay and Alipay.
Yep.
Well, they didn't mention a digital currency that's coming out too. But there are these, there's WeChat Pay, there's Alipay, there's other ones too. There's
Yes.
there's the Baidu Pay. So there's Suning Pay. Okay. There's and this article says too that there's Kuaishou and there's a ByteDance one. There's a Didi one, a Meituan one. And I don't know if people will actually want to use any of these. I feel like these big companies, they feel like maybe they're big enough that they can launch their own payment solution and people will start using it. But maybe people don't want to use a lot of different payment solutions.
Yes. Actually, I can share a story from here. This morning we did a questionnaire in our own company. And so far we have 7 people did the questionnaire. And only 1 people said that she is willing to try different payment in different apps. And all the others, they said, no, I don't want to try. I think WeChat Pay and Alipay is far more than enough.
Yeah, I think it could be hard to get people to use those. And one way for these other companies to enter the market would be to just give away money in their systems. Like if you start using Meituan Pay or whatever, then you can get free 20 yuan or something like that. But that's expensive and people don't want all these different payment solutions, I would guess.
Yes.
I still don't know back to the Chinese yuan, the digital yuan. I still don't know what the real user experience is going to be like when it's actually released. Is it in competition with WeChat and Alipay, or is it aligned with them, or what?
No, actually it is different. So I actually did some research before like September. The result is the digital currency is not compare or compete with either Alipay or WeChat Pay or any payment on the market, because for all those payment solutions, actually they are using the bank. So actually, whenever you use Alipay or WeChat Pay, actually you're still paying from through the bank. So the bank is still the agency. But from this moment, if you're using digital currency, there is no more media. So imagine actually you go on the street, you go to a shopping mall, you pay the cashier using your own cash instead of using Alipay. So Alipay and WeChat Pay is an agent right here. So you're actually paying to WeChat or Alipay, and then they're paying to the bank, and then the bank will pay to the cashier. So there is a process where WeChat and Alipay will actually store your money for a while, and then they will pay to the supermarket. But for the digital currency, it is not. It's just like you paying the cash to the cashier. There's no differences. So it's rather easier and more convenient.
But the digital currency, do you have like from a user's point of view, is there an app that's going to be on their phone that has a digital currency, or is a digital currency just in their WeChat Pay and their Alipay?
I think there will be a separate feature on your smartphone rather than applications. So I think there will be features to support this digital currency, because imagine that this will be applied to all the smartphone. So although I believe that WeChat and Alipay is a super app in China, but not everyone has it. And the issue in here is the government is developing a currency which will be used for all the Chinese members, regardless you have a smartphone or you don't really know how to use a smartphone. So the problem is, I think they will have a feature adding into your smartphone, either your Android or your iPhone. You will be able to use them regardless you have internet or you don't have, or you
Yeah.
have WeChat or not.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I guess I don't really know what it looks like yet because we just read the articles and we haven't I haven't seen somebody actually use it. I have this assumption or hope that it's going to be super convenient to use within China and just fit into everything and just start being really smooth online and offline right away.
Actually, I want to share the last point. I think you can even use a digital currency, even your phone is out of the battery. It's like it's just like you paying the cash to others. It's just no differences. Simply, I think it's a tap your phone and you'll be able to pay through that. I don't really know how it works, but that's what the government says.
It's not going to work if you're out of batteries, is it?
I don't know. Probably
I don't
we
know.
will see in the future. I think we will find out on that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next topic here: Chinese ICP licenses. Now, this is nothing really new, but it's something that we get asked a lot, and I thought it through again because I wanted to be able to advise people on what to do about ICP licenses. And long story short, anybody that wants to have their website hosted in China will need an ICP license. And that's also true for apps besides just websites. And that's pretty much the main reason that people would get it. There are some industries and some legal reasons to get an ICP license beyond that, but that's not usually the use case. Usually it's just that people want a website that loads quickly within China, and to do that, they need to host in China, they need an ICP license. So we wrote this very long, but I hope simple guide for it, right? And I think it would be boring to go over all these details in this chat now, but one of the interesting things that I saw when I was researching this is that it seems like some people are actually paying a lot more for ICP licenses than they should. For example, Alibaba, they will charge people for an ICP consulting service that ranges from $5,100 to $8,200 US. And that seems an awful lot to me. For one thing, it's not that they will, well, maybe it is that they will get the ICP license for you. So they'll act as a proxy for your company and get the ICP license for you. And that's why it's so expensive. And I think that maybe they call it consulting because this is a bit of a gray area and they can't just directly say that they're going to get the ICP license on your behalf. So they call it consulting. Okay. But still, that was a lot more than we charged people in the past for that, because we charge them like $700 usually for informational websites. And yeah. And then I saw some other people talking about prices, and the prices went as high as $40,000, which I don't know why somebody would end up paying $40,000 just to get these licenses, because you could set up a whole business in China. You could get your business set up. You could have a lawyer and an accountant on board on a yearly basis to help you go over things and make sure everything's in order. And that would be a lot more robust than just having the ICP license.
I think one of the things is people outside of the country don't really know how it works. And when they heard Alibaba has kind of the consulting service, and they will be, they're famous, I should really, get the help from them. And then they end up paying too much.
Yeah, so it could be a really good and useful service from a legal point of view for big business reasons that I don't know. Or it could be just that's the Lao Wai price, That's the price for foreigners that don't know what to do it. All right, let's go on to the next one. This is about Huya and Douyu. So I showed a tour of Douyu on a YouTube channel before, but what Douyu is and Huya is their streaming platforms for video games. So that means people are playing video games and then they're streaming the video of the video game with the users that are online, and the users are watching, and they're chatting, adding in some comments, joining in as they want, And both of these platforms are really big. I think that both of them, not combined, but separately, both of them are bigger than Twitch, the biggest gamer live streaming platform outside of China. And the two of them wanted to merge. So we talked about this earlier. We said they were merging, but they've run into some speed bumps here. It seems like there are some antitrust issues. So the Chinese government is looking into it, and the merger might be allowed to go ahead, or it might not. And this is interesting because this is part of a broader trend that the Chinese government is watching out for anti-competition amongst these big Chinese tech conglomerates, because companies like Tencent and Alibaba, they just buy up all these different companies and get them working in coordination with each other, which might reduce competition too much and give too much power to those big businesses. So the Chinese government wants to keep them under control and also make things more competitive. Hopefully the results of this are that the Chinese digital environment remains competitive and innovative and keeps coming out with great new options for regular users that want to interact on the platforms, and influencers and marketing companies like this, and investors and everybody.
Okay, so I think Tate just shared a point of view from government. So as an audience, so I will share some of my experience in here. I heard this news, I think, quite a few months ago. And one question still remains here is, what does the difference between once they merge together as one company owned, or the difference just like right now? I don't really feel the difference between either if they merged as a new company or they just still work as two individual companies. It doesn't really make any difference for me, because as a user, if I'm checking live streaming on Douyu every day, even if they merge together, I will still go to Douyu and just check whoever the host is, or check the news, or check everything on there. I don't think they will probably merge two platforms into one. So now it's Douyu and Huya. I don't think they will just call it Douya. No, I don't think so. So
yeah.
So I think they would just still remain the same, but just the owner of the company has changed, but it doesn't really impact as the regular users.
Sure. It is hard to see how it might impact regular users, but it could. The funny thing about this merger, though, too, is that Tencent already has partial ownership of both these companies. So it's already Tencent owning them, and it's just Tencent wanting to combine them into one. And then what happens after that, I don't really know.
I think probably recently there is a very strong anti-monopoly concerns in different industries, not only the live stream. I also say the government, they say, probably for Pinduoduo, Meituan, and Alipay, they should stop concerning about daily life competing with each other, about community shopping we mentioned earlier last week. So they should focus on something more technology rather than just concerning vegetables and fruit.
Well, the best Christmas present they could give us marketers is they could make a rule that all of these giant Chinese tech companies need to let their users share links to other platforms and other information on other sites, because sometimes that's hard for us to get users to move from one place to another. For example, if we're using one platform for promotions and then we're using another platform that has a store on it, sometimes we might not be able to easily set up that interaction, even if it's paid advertising. So if we could do that, that'd be cool.
I think that would be a Christmas gift for next year, but not this year.
I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see. Okay, let's move on to our last topic here. So this is Ding Zhen. Now, how about you tell me about Ding Zhen, Lawrence?
Okay. So actually, Ding Zhen has become very, very famous in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Um, he is an ordinary person who live in Sichuan, and he was famous because there was a reporter who go to his house and try to shoot a video for his brother. But luckily that his brother was absent on that day, so the reporter shoot a video for him and put that video on Douyin, and then he just got famous over the night and has
Okay.
thousands and thousands of fans loves him, and probably most of them are just girls.
Okay. Hey, he looks kind of like you.
Not really. Okay, so probably
No,
our
not
famous
really.
over the night.
Just a little bit. I'm just seeing a young Chinese man here. I'm not seeing exactly why they think he's super cool.
I think probably we should check the video before that. The reason is people think that he has the original pure and innocent character that
Okay.
hasn't. Imagine that people who work in a city, they always look tired or exhausted because they have to work for a long time or they have super pressure from
Okay.
either house loaning or whatever. But for him, he looks very pure and innocent, and whenever he smells, like you like the smell, is from the bottom of the heart.
Okay.
And a lot of girls are discussing about him on Weibo and says, okay, this is kind of the man I would like to marry with. And something that people don't really know is he is actually super rich. He has
Oh,
around
really?
yeah, he has around 100 yaks.
100
at his
yaks.
home. Yes, and each
Is-
yak is worth about like 10,000 Chinese yuan,
Okay.
and then that's just equivalent to 1 million Chinese yuan. So actually,
Ah.
he's super rich compared to me at least.
Ah, okay. Well, I've seen him. I've seen him talked about online. I did. I did hear about this, and I'm looking at right now this website, whatsonweibo.com, which is really cool. And they have a podcast too, and they went over this in quite good detail, and it's very smooth. So if people wanted to find out more information about Ding Zhen, they could listen to that What's on Weibo podcast.
Yes. So, Ted, actually, I have a question. When actually you're looking at the picture of Ding Zhen, which province you think he is belong to? Like where he was born?
I know the answer to this one. I think.
Oh, okay, I shouldn't tell you the answer.
Well, okay. I know that people think he's Tibetan, right?
Yes.
But where is he actually from? He's from Gansu province?
No, Sichuan.
Sichuan province. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, because there are those maybe Gansu is not the right answer, but there are a couple provinces that neighbor Tibet. They're right next to it.
Sichuan
and then they have Tibetan cultural influence in there too, right?
Yes. So particularly his closest, I think in the very beginning, a lot of people believe that he is living in Tibet, but actually he's living in Sichuan. And those two provinces on Weibo are actually fighting with each other. Because Ding Zhen did an interview and said that the most favorite city for him is actually Tibet, not Sichuan. But actually he lives in Sichuan. So the two cities actually fighting for him in terms of tourism. So Tibet will say, okay, we're the city Ding Zhen loved the most, and Sichuan will say, actually, Ding Zhen actually living in Sichuan, you should come to Sichuan.
Okay. Cool. All right, so I think we'll wrap it up here. This is China marketing news for the week. And then, hey, if anybody listening wants to come join us sometime, or you have questions about marketing in China, Chinese cultural trends, or anything, come on just as we're doing the show live and ask us, and we'll see what we can talk about there. Other than that, have a nice week, and I'll see you later.
Yes, see you next week. Bye-bye.